When the COVID-19 pandemic struck, it caught everyone off guard. Businesses closed, hospitals were overcrowded, and people were forced to take shelter in their homes. But for residents who rented their homes and found themselves suddenly out of work, what were they to do? The federal government enacted emergency legislation that provided rent and utility assistance to tenants in financial hardship so that people could remain safely housed during the pandemic. As the emergency rental assistance funding came in, Prince George's County got to work, distributing rent and utility assistance, working closely with tenants, landlords, and utility companies. The Department of Housing and Community Development worked with community partners, the Office of the Sheriff, the Office of Community Relations, the Department of Social Services, the District Court, property management companies, landlords, and tenants to distribute over $100 million in rent and utility payments and supporting over 10,000 households who suddenly faced housing insecurity. Tracy Hall, a hairstylist at Signature Styles in Glendale, Maryland, explains how the Emergency Rental Assistance Program assisted her and her business.
It helped me tremendously. It dug me out of a hole because not only did I have my rent at home, I had my rent here as well. And with absolutely no income, you're not waiting on another check because I worked a week, so I get paid next week. When we shut down, that was it. So when the emergency assistance came through, it allowed me to pay my rent at home, which gave me a better ability to pay my rent here in the shop and to keep moving with my business.
Shatavia McDonald, a property manager at Summer Ridge Apartments in Landover, talks about how the rental assistance helped the tenants and the landlord.
The assistance helped because we were able to bring in funds for the property, our owners were satisfied, and we were able to stop our residents from being evicted. That was our main goal, not to have our residents outside.
Mary Hunter, Director of Housing Counseling at Housing Initiative Partnership in Hyattsville, talks about the impact of the pandemic on the residents she serves.
ERAP was a lifeline for renters in this county. It was critical when ERAP opened up. Thousands of renters called our office. We had a special phone number and a special email address set up. Thousands upon thousands of renters needed this assistance. So many people were laid off and had no income. And they, month after month, were seeing the arrears in their apartment build up. And it was really scary, thinking about how they may be housing insecure in the very moment when you needed your house as a safe space.
Arvin Hernandez is grateful that community organizations, the county, and tenants all came together in a crisis.
Bueno, gracias a Dios, le agradezco a Dios y a Casa de Maryland porque los ha apoyado y al condado, pues.
I'm grateful to God, Casa, and the county for the efforts. We met as a group of tenants. Many of us were able to benefit. We met in the rain and the snow, and as a result of the efforts of all of us working together, we were able to get through that time. ERAP, working with the county, was an unbelievable savior. I remember in March of 2020, tenants were desperate, and that was when the program rolled out. In fact, I think the first in the whole area for it to roll out, and when it did, it was a light in the darkness. I'm so happy to have been working with the county, and at Casa, having been working with the county over the last year and a half, the program has provided, honestly, millions of dollars in rental assistance that has kept people in their homes and preventing them from literally being on the streets during this pandemic.
Xiomara Rodriguez, a tenant in Langley Park, Maryland, feels the emergency rental assistance provided the support needed when work was not available.
Pues fue un tiempo muy difícil en lo que pudimos pasar, porque la verdad nos afectó bastante en lo que es el trabajo. No teníamos trabajo, a veces había para comer, a veces no había, por el problema.
It was a time that was very difficult. It affected us greatly. We couldn't find work, we lost our work, and at times we even had trouble getting enough food because of not having work. We were thankful because at least as a result of the county's efforts, we were able to not worry about our housing and helped with rent.
The Emergency Rental Assistance Program has assigned all its applications for review for eligibility and is working to complete the program as businesses and employers are now open and the workforce has started back to work. DHCD thanks our partners for their assistance in implementing the Emergency Rental Assistance Program and thanks the Maryland Department of Housing and Community Development for its support and funding. If the pandemic has taught us something, is that we are all interconnected and we can only succeed through collaborations, common goals, and strong partnerships.